My Foxgirl roommate caught me. Her reaction was priceless. Alex shifted the last box onto the floor of his new quarters aboard the orbital station. The place smelled faintly of metal and recycled air, the usual faint hum of the station's systems vibrating through the walls. He wiped his hands on his pants and looked around. It wasn't exactly home, but after months of cramped modules and recycled space pods, it felt like a luxury. There were wide windows overlooking the blue and green swirl of the planet below, a small kitchen area, and 2 bunks. Only one problem: he wasn't entirely alone. A soft rustle came from the corner. Alex froze and squinted. A pair of golden eyes blinked at him from beneath a mess of silver hair. The ears on top of the head twitched. Alex's jaw dropped. Hello?" he said cautiously. The figure stepped into view, and he saw a fox-like tail swish behind her. She was humanoid, but her ears and tail clearly marked her as non-human. Her small frame moved with fluid grace as she tilted her head, eyes studying him with curiosity. "I'm Leary," she said, voice melodic with a hint of mischief. "You must be my new roommate." "Alex, nice to meet you." He extended a hand, which she looked at for a moment before mimicking him with a delicate, playful shake. Leary's tail flicked in amusement. "You look nervous." "Don't worry. I'm mostly harmless." Alex chuckled awkwardly. Mostly, she confirmed with a wink. "I like to see how humans handle unexpected situations." Alex blinked. "Unexpected situations? You mean like moving in together?" Leary tilted her head again, her ears twitching. "That's a good start, but I prefer spontaneous surprises." She gave a soft laugh. It was light and musical, but Alex could feel a tiny twinge of anxiety creeping up his spine. He tried to focus on unpacking. The first box held clothing and personal items. The second contained small gadgets and tools. Humans were adaptable, Alex reminded himself. He could handle this. He'd handled worse. Yet as he organized his things, Leary wandered around the room, picking up random objects. She inspected a small spanner, tapped a flashlight against her palm, then looked up at him with a curious smile. "Why do humans carry so many strange tools?" she asked. Alex grinned, despite himself. "Because sometimes you need to fix things nobody else can." Her ears twitched with amusement. "Interesting. I might borrow one later. Or 3. He laughed, shaking his head. "I'll allow 1. Maybe 2. As the day went on, Alex started to notice Leary's quirks. She had a habit of moving silently, appearing unexpectedly behind him. She seemed fascinated by everything human, poking at the fridge, pressing buttons on his personal devices, and occasionally scribbling little notes in an alien script he couldn't read. She wasn't malicious, but her curiosity was relentless. Alex, in turn, found himself improvising ways to protect his things without offending her. He stacked his tools in ways that were practical but slightly confusing, hoping she would see them as puzzles rather than obstacles. To his surprise, she seemed to enjoy the challenge. When he tried to open a package of synthetic food, Leary darted forward, tilting her head. "Human food, yes? I detect unusual energy signatures." Alex blinked. It's just lunch." She sniffed it and wrinkled her nose. "Interesting. Not poisonous. I approve." She plopped herself on the floor with a tiny flourish, tails swishing. Alex laughed. He realized something important. Humans were not just survivors. They were clever, inventive, and adaptable. If Leary was testing him, he could turn it into a game. If he could keep up, maybe she'd respect him. By evening, he had started assembling a small, personal drone. It hovered in front of him, lights blinking, sensors scanning the room. He wanted something to help with minor repairs around the quarters. Alex adjusted the controls, making sure the drone's movements were precise. "Ah, a mechanical companion," Leary observed from the doorway. "How quaint." "Not just quaint," Alex said, adjusting the propellers. "Useful." Leary's ears twitched. "Can it fetch things?" "Yes, if you program it right," she grinned, clearly interested. "Let's see it then." Alex started a small demonstration. The drone floated across the room, picked up a tool, and returned it to him. Leary clapped, tail wagging. "Impressive. You humans are?" Ingenious. Alex felt a flush of pride. We try. But as he reached to adjust the drone, his sleeve caught a small lever on Leary's personal table. Instantly, a miniature alarm went off, lights flashed, and a small container tipped over, scattering alien artifacts across the floor. Oops, Alex muttered, diving to catch the pieces. Sorry. I didn't mean. Leary's eyes widened, and she froze mid-step. The tail twitched sharply, ears standing straight up. She looked at Alex, then at the mess, then back at him. For a moment, Alex thought she might be angry, but instead, she tilted her head and let out a soft, surprised laugh. Well, that was unexpected. Alex froze. Yeah, totally unexpected. She walked over, picking up one of the artifacts. You humans? Always such chaos. I prefer organized chaos, Alex said, trying to sound confident. He smiled awkwardly. Mostly harmless, like you said. Leary raised an eyebrow. Mostly, Alex shrugged, unable to help the grin spreading across his face. Well, I try. She twirled one of the objects in her fingers, studying it. You're curious, clever, adaptable. Alex felt a tiny surge of pride. Even if she was teasing him, she had noticed something important: human ingenuity. Humans had a way of surviving and thriving, even in strange, unpredictable environments. Thanks, he said. I think. She giggled, a sound like wind chimes. This is going to be interesting, she said. I like interesting. The rest of the evening passed with careful, playful observation. Alex repaired the scattered artifacts under Leary's amused supervision. He realized she wasn't just testing him, she was challenging him to think creatively, to adapt and to respond under pressure. When he finally sat down on his bunk, exhausted but satisfied, Leary curled up on the floor near the window, her tail wrapped around her like a soft blanket. She looked at the swirling planet below and then back at him. You humans, you are more remarkable than I expected, she said quietly. Alex smiled. And you aliens are more fun than I expected. She tilted her head, ears twitching. I think this partnership will be most entertaining. Alex leaned back against the wall, feeling a strange sense of accomplishment. Yes, the day had been chaotic. Yes, he had been caught off guard more than once. But he had navigated it. He had adapted. He had survived and even impressed an alien with senses and reflexes far superior to his own. Humans, he thought, really could handle the unexpected. Outside the window, the planet glowed in shades of blue and green. Stars shimmered beyond. In this vast universe, aboard a station filled with beings unlike himself, Alex had already taken the first step toward thriving. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing. With curiosity, ingenuity, and a little bit of humor, humans could shine anywhere. Even when a fox-girl alien roommate was watching his every move. And as he drifted off to sleep, the tiny hum of the station a lullaby, he realized that this was only the beginning of something far more adventurous than he had ever imagined. The next morning, Alex woke to the soft vibration of the station's internal clock. The sunlight spilling through the wide viewport caught the edges of Leary's silver hair, making it shimmer. She was already awake, perched on her bunk with her tail wrapped neatly around her legs, watching him with those golden eyes. Good morning, she said, her voice teasing but warm. Did you sleep well, human? Alex rubbed his eyes and stretched. Better than I expected. How about you? I always sleep well, Leary replied, tilting her head. Curiosity never rests, but my rest is efficient. Alex laughed softly. I'll keep that in mind. He swung his legs over the bunk and began tidying his side of the room. Even small tasks felt different now that Leary's eyes were on him. He realized he liked that. Not being judged exactly, but being noticed for effort. For thoughtfulness, something distinctly human after breakfast. Alex returned to the drone he had been assembling the day before. He had a plan today: test it more carefully and make sure nothing went wrong. After yesterday's chaos, he didn't want to appear clumsy again. Leary hovered near the doorway, her ears twitching. "Are you going to make more noise today?" she asked, half teasing. Alex shook his head. "No. Today I am careful, controlled, precise." Leary's golden eyes sparkled. "We shall see." He activated the drone, which hummed softly, sensors scanning the room. Alex guided it to pick up a small wrench and deliver it to him. Everything went perfectly. Leary clapped, tail flicking. "Not bad. Human ingenuity at work. I approve." Feeling encouraged, Alex decided to push the drone's abilities a little further. He programmed it to navigate a small obstacle course he had set up with empty boxes and tools. As the drone weaved through the obstacles, he felt a thrill of pride. Humans could adapt, think on the fly, and solve problems creatively. And it was a skill that Leary seemed to notice. Then came the moment that changed the morning entirely. Alex misjudged a turn. The drone's arm clipped one of Leary's personal storage boxes, and in an instant, a small chain reaction began. A stack of delicate artifacts wobbled. Alex lunged, but it was too late. One by one, the objects fell to the floor, scattering across the room. Alex froze, staring at the mess. His stomach sank. He had been careful. He had been precise. And now, oh, a soft, almost melodic giggle came from behind him. Alex turned and saw Leary standing in the doorway. Golden eyes wide but glittering with amusement. "You did it again," she said, tail flicking sharply. "You humans and your chaotic charm." Alex bit his lip. I tried to control it." "You tried?" Leary echoed, tilting her head. "Yes, that is evident." Alex knew he needed a plan. He couldn't just stand there looking guilty. Not if he wanted to keep her respect. He knelt and began carefully picking up the fallen artifacts, setting them on a low table. Leary watched silently for a moment. Then she leaned on the doorway frame, ears twitching. "Do you always handle accidents this way?" she asked. Alex smiled faintly. "I try to fix mistakes rather than ignore them. Humans, we improvise. We solve problems, even messy ones." Leary's tail swished. "Impressive. But it is not just the fixing. It is how you adapt in the moment. Clever humans are entertaining." Alex felt a small spark of pride. Being entertaining wasn't why he was here, but he could see it mattered. To survive in this station, to thrive among beings like Leary, cleverness was almost as important as skill. As he worked, he noticed something strange. Leary wasn't criticizing him. She wasn't scolding. Instead, she was watching him, almost studying his method. Every time he adjusted an artifact, she leaned a little closer, curious. "You handle pressure well," she said softly. "I expected panic, chaos. But you analyze, adapt, execute. Fascinating." Alex paused. "Thanks. That's nice to hear." Leary's eyes sparkled. "It is also entertaining. You humans are unpredictable, and yet resourceful." For the first time, Alex realized that Leary's reaction was not anger or frustration. It was respect. She admired human ingenuity, just as he had admired alien agility and instinct. The interaction left him oddly exhilarated. After finishing the cleanup, Alex leaned back on his bunk, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Okay," he said. "I survived the first major disaster. Hopefully the rest of the day is calmer." Leary stepped closer, tail swishing. "Calm. That is not the way of the universe. Or humans, apparently." Alex laughed. "Fair enough." Suddenly an idea struck him. He could turn this situation into a game. Maybe even a bond. "You know," he said, "if you like testing humans, I can try testing you too. A little friendly challenge." Leary's ears perked. "A challenge?" "Yes," Alex said, standing. "Something simple at first. See how well you react to human ingenuity." Her golden eyes gleamed. "Interesting. I accept. But do not underestimate me." Alex grinned. "I wouldn't dream of it." He quickly set up a small obstacle course with the drone again, using tools and objects to create a path. Leary observed quietly, her tail flicking in anticipation. Alex sent the drone through the course remotely, then added a surprise element, a small, lightweight container that would wobble and require precise maneuvering. Leary's ears twitched. Clever. You hide complexity in simplicity. Alex felt proud. It's human nature. Simple appearances often hide elaborate thinking. As the drone maneuvered, Leary clapped lightly, tail swishing. Impressive. But can you react when I alter the conditions? Before Alex could answer, she nudged one of the boxes slightly with her foot. The drone tilted, but Alex quickly corrected it, guiding it safely through the rest of the course. Leary's eyes widened, and she let out a soft laugh. You are truly adaptable. Alex felt a rush of exhilaration. Leary's amusement wasn't just playful, it was approval. Humans could thrive in unexpected circumstances. They could improvise under pressure, learn from mistakes, and still achieve their goals. And now she was testing him, challenging him, pushing him to be even better. Your turn, Alex said suddenly. Try navigating a course I set up for you. Leary tilted her head. You mean me, physically? Yes. Think of it as a mental and physical test. Her golden eyes sparkled. Very well. I accept. Alex quickly arranged a few obstacles, small crates, a loose tool, and a narrow path along the edge of the room. It's simple, but pay attention. Timing and adaptation are key. Leary crouched slightly, tail swishing. She darted through the course with astonishing speed and grace. Alex's jaw dropped. Her agility was unmatched, and her reflexes far exceeded his own. Yet, he noticed something interesting. She hesitated slightly at each obstacle, considering her approach before acting. That pause. Thinking before acting, he muttered to himself. That's human-like. She's learning from observation. When she completed the course, she looked at him expectantly. Was that satisfactory? Alex grinned. Very, but, I noticed. You think before moving. Intelligent but cautious. That's an interesting trait. Leary's ears twitched. You humans. Always analyzing. Curious creatures. Alex laughed. And you aliens. Always unpredictable. Makes for good learning. The rest of the day passed in a similar rhythm. Challenges, playful tests, and clever improvisation. Alex realized that the earlier mishap, the drone knocking over the artifacts, was the perfect icebreaker. It forced both of them to adapt, to observe, and to respond in ways neither expected. By evening, they sat near the window together, watching the planet below. Leary's tail curled lazily, ears relaxed. Humans are resilient, she said, even when caught off guard, even when mistakes are made. You adapt, learn, and continue. Admirable, Alex smiled. Thanks. I think resilience is part of who we are. It helps to survive. And sometimes, it makes life more interesting. Leary tilted her head, studying him for a long moment. You are entertaining, human, and clever. Perhaps this will be an enjoyable partnership after all. Alex leaned back, feeling a warmth he hadn't expected. Today had been chaotic, messy, and full of surprises. But he had adapted. He had impressed. And he had forged the beginnings of an unexpected friendship with a creature utterly unlike himself, as the station's lights dimmed for the simulated night cycle.
Alex
realized something important. Humans could survive anywhere, thrive anywhere, and even form bonds in the most unpredictable circumstances. All it took was ingenuity, adaptability, and the willingness to keep trying even after being caught in a mess more than once. And somewhere nearby, a fox-girl alien roommate watched him with curiosity, amusement, and approval, a silent witness to the very human ability to turn chaos into opportunity, mistakes into lessons, and accidents into connection. The morning light glimmered across the station's wide windows, casting long reflections onto the metallic floor. Alex yawned and stretched, still feeling the excitement of the previous day. He had survived Leary's playful tests, navigated her challenges, and somehow earned her respect. That's what those golden eyes had been signaling. Today, he suspected, would be even more unpredictable. Leary was already awake. Perched near the window like a small silver shadow, her tail flicked lazily, ears tilted forward. She watched Alex with curiosity, eyes sparkling. "Good morning," she said softly. "Did you dream of human ingenuity?" Alex laughed, brushing his hair back. "Mostly. Just more challenges. Somehow I think the universe isn't done testing me yet." Leary's ears twitched. Testing is important. Observation leads to learning. Do you agree? "Yes," Alex replied. "Humans learn from mistakes, from accidents, from unexpected situations. Adaptation is key." She tilted her head, gold eyes bright. "You are. Very human."
Alex grinned.
That's the idea. After breakfast, Alex decided to make the most of a quiet morning. He set up his tools and began small maintenance tasks around their shared quarters. Leary observed, occasionally commenting or nudging him toward faster, more efficient methods. Her suggestions were always precise. Alien logic meeting human improvisation. Alex found the combination oddly stimulating. He felt sharp, alive, and most importantly useful. "Your approach is unusual," Leary remarked, watching him stabilize a floating conduit. "You use intuition and improvisation, not just analysis." Alex paused, screwdriver in hand. "Humans tend to combine logic and instinct. We can adapt when plans fail." Her tail swished. "Curious. Perhaps this is why humans survive, even in unpredictable environments." Alex smiled, feeling a swell of pride. The Fox girl's words weren't just flattery, they were recognition. Recognition of human resilience, resourcefulness, and cleverness. After the maintenance, Alex decided it was time to test the drone again, but this time outside their quarters. He wanted to see how it handled the station's narrow corridors. Carefully, he programmed a path and sent it floating down the hall. Leary followed silently, tail flicking, ears alert. The drone maneuvered expertly through the bends, avoiding hanging wires and small crates. Alex felt satisfaction humans could create tools, improvise, and control environments in ways even advanced alien species might overlook. Then disaster struck. A sudden vibration shook the corridor, a minor quake. The station's structure adjusting. The drone wobbled, sensors flickered, and before Alex could react, it collided with a maintenance cart. Tools spilled across the floor, a small panel detached, and sparks flew. Alex's stomach sank. Not again. Leary stepped forward, ears perking, eyes wide but curious. "This is entertaining," she said. "But can you recover?" Alex didn't hesitate. He lunged for the drone, steadying it midair with quick adjustments to the controls. He knelt, grabbed the loose panel, and reconnected it, his hands working faster than even he realized. Sparks fizzled out, systems hummed back to life, and the drone floated steadily again. Leary's tail flicked sharply. Remarkable. Calm under pressure. You think quickly. React effectively. Clever human. Alex caught his breath, chest heaving slightly. "Thanks. It helps to stay focused." Panic rarely solves anything. Her eyes sparkled. "Indeed. Observation and adaptation your strength." It was a compliment, but also a challenge. Alex could feel it in her tone, in her gaze. Leary was testing him not with words or games this time, but with expectation. She wanted to see how far human cleverness could go under stress. Later, back in their quarters, Leary proposed something unusual. "Alex, let us make a challenge," she said. "A test of human ingenuity versus alien reflex. You design, I attempt. Then I design, you attempt. Agreed?" Alex's grin widened. "Agreed. Let's make it interesting." He quickly arranged a small obstacle course across the quarters. Crates, small panels, tools, and a few floating objects were placed to force careful navigation. He activated the drone again, adding tiny moving parts to simulate unpredictability. "Observe, learn, adapt," he said. "The key is quick thinking." Leary crouched, tail curled tightly, eyes focused. She darted forward, moving with astonishing speed and precision. Yet Alex noticed something subtle. She paused ever so slightly before each new obstacle. That tiny hesitation allowed her to adjust mid-motion, applying logic to instinct. He couldn't help but admire her skill. The course was meant to challenge her. But in reality, it became a shared exercise in observation, analysis, and adaptation. When she finished, Leary looked at Alex expectantly. You humans, use strategy, anticipate, adapt, clever. Alex nodded. And you, combine instinct with logic. Both approaches can succeed. Leary's ears twitched. Yes. Perhaps this is why humans and aliens can cooperate effectively. Alex leaned back, smiling. The realization hit him. This wasn't just a game. This was training. For him and for her. Both were learning from each other, improving through observation, trial, and adaptation. Just as he relaxed, an alert flashed on the station console. A nearby habitat module had a minor pressure fluctuation. Not enough to endanger anyone, but it required immediate attention. Looks like our test isn't over, Alex muttered. Leary's ears twitched sharply. Indeed, let us go. Adaptation in real situations is more instructive than games. They raced to the control room. Alex's mind went into overdrive, analyzing the problem. Leary's reflexes were quick, and she assisted by monitoring vital systems, redirecting minor energy flows. Together, they worked seamlessly. Human ingenuity meeting alien instinct. Alex devised an unconventional solution, rerouting secondary power systems to stabilize pressure while avoiding critical modules. Leary executed it with precision, following his guidance, but adjusting in real time. Interesting, she said. Your solution is? Creative, efficient. Humans think differently, and aliens execute differently, Alex replied. We complement each other. The pressure stabilized. Alex exhaled, chest still pounding. Leary's tail swished in satisfaction. You humans sometimes seem fragile, but your minds, resilient, impressive. Alex smiled faintly. Thanks. It helps to think clearly under pressure. Stay calm, observe, and adapt. That's how humans survive. They returned to their quarters, exhausted but exhilarated. The day had started with playful tests, escalated with unpredictable challenges, and ended with real-world problem-solving. Alex realized that even a simple accident, like a drone mishap, could lead to growth, respect, and learning. Leary curled up on her bunk, tail wrapped around her legs. Today was enlightening. Humans are more capable than they appear, Alex chuckled. And aliens are more engaging than they appear. They sat in companionable silence, watching the planet below. Alex thought about the past 2 days, the chaos, the challenges, the small victories. Humans survived in environments that tested both skill and spirit. They could improvise, adapt, and thrive. Even when circumstances seemed impossible, and somewhere nearby, a fox girl alien roommate observed him with curiosity and approval. She had challenged him, tested him, and in doing so, revealed a truth Alex had always known: human ingenuity was remarkable, and sometimes it could be downright entertaining. The station's lights dimmed for simulated night, and Alex leaned back against the wall. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, no doubt. But today he had proven something. He could adapt. He could survive. And, most importantly, he could impress even the most unpredictable and intelligent alien with nothing but his cleverness, patience, and quick thinking. Leary's golden eyes caught his in the fading light. Tomorrow, we will test again, she said softly. Your ingenuity versus my reflexes. Alex grinned. I wouldn't have it any other way. Outside the window, the stars stretched endlessly. The universe was vast, full of strange beings, unexpected challenges, and boundless opportunities. And somewhere in that vastness, a human could thrive, adapt, and shine, sometimes clumsy, sometimes messy, but always inventive, always resilient, and always remarkably human. The station had settled into its usual rhythm when the alarm blared. A sharp, urgent tone echoed through the halls, vibrating against the walls and floors. Alex's heart skipped a beat. This was no minor pressure fluctuation like yesterday. This was something bigger. Lir. I appeared beside him instantly, ears perked, tail bristling with tension. Human, this is. Serious. We must act now. Alex grabbed his toolkit, instincts kicking in. Right. Let's assess the situation first. The central console displayed the problem. A life support system in the hydroponics module had malfunctioned. Oxygen levels were dropping slowly, but if not corrected, the plant sand, potentially the air supply for part of the station, could be compromised. Alex swallowed. The hydroponic system wasn't just a garden, it was vital for long-term station survival. Humans could survive with masks and short-term fixes, but a failure here could affect everyone on the station, human and alien alike. Leary's eyes were sharp, analytical. We cannot delay. Your ingenuity is needed now, he nodded. I've got it. They hurried to the module. The air was thick with the faint scent of overworked machinery, and the hum of failing pumps made a low, threatening growl. Alex crouched to inspect the main control panel. Sparks danced along a connector. Leary moved beside him, tail brushing against the console, her ears flicking back and forth as she monitored the pressure readings. This is tricky, Alex muttered. The primary circuit is fried. We need to reroute power and stabilize the system manually. Leary tilted her head. I will assist. Alert me to critical junctions. Alex felt a surge of determination. Humans thrived in unpredictability. This was their strength, the ability to remain calm, analyze, improvise, and solve problems under pressure. He pulled a portable power regulator from his toolkit and studied the wiring. He noticed a small anomaly. The alien design included redundant circuits, but they required unconventional rerouting. Follow my lead, Alex said, thinking aloud. I'm going to disconnect the auxiliary conduit, then re-engage the secondary power line. Watch closely, it's delicate. Leary crouched low, ears twitching, tail coiled around her legs. She observed every move, ready to act. Understood. Ready to execute commands precisely. Alex's hands worked quickly but carefully, rerouting wires, reattaching panels, adjusting the flow of energy. Sparks flew dangerously close, but he remained focused. Humans excelled under pressure, he thought. Panic was useless. Precision and improvisation were key, stabilizing primary conduit. Now, he said. The lights on the console flickered, then glowed steadily. The air pumps hummed back to life. Oxygen readings began to rise. Leary's tail swished sharply. Remarkable. Human ingenuity. Truly effective under critical stress. Alex let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Thanks, but we're not done. The auxiliary system still needs calibration. If we failed there, the pressure could drop again. Together they moved through the module, Leary following his instructions. Alex guided her to adjust valves and monitor flow rates. He explained each step carefully, showing her where to check readings and how to anticipate system quirks. Leary adapted instantly, moving with precision and instinct, applying the human-designed instructions to alien machinery. This is fascinating, Leary said, tail flicking. You humans see solutions where others see obstacles. You improvise with logic and creativity simultaneously. Alex smiled, energized by the praise. It's what we do. Observation, quick thinking, adaptability. That's how humans survive in unexpected situations. After several tense minutes, the system was fully stabilized. The oxygen levels normalized, and the hum of machinery returned to a steady rhythm. Alex slumped against a support beam, exhaustion hitting him in waves. Leary approached, tail brushing his shoulder. You did. Well, she said softly. More than well. Human adaptability is impressive. Alex chuckled, wiping sweat from his forehead. Thanks, but I couldn't have done it without your help. Your instincts. They're amazing. Leary's ears twitched. We make an effective team. For a moment, They just looked at each other. Humans and aliens side by side, facing challenges that neither could have handled alone. In that instant, Alex realized that HFY wasn't just about courage or strength. It was about ingenuity, quick thinking, and the ability to adapt to circumstances no one could fully predict. That was the essence of humanity, and he had just proved it in real time. Once the immediate danger passed, they returned to their quarters. Leary curled up on the floor, tail wrapped neatly around her legs. Alex sat on the edge of his bunk, letting the adrenaline fade. "You humans," Leary said after a long pause, ears twitching thoughtfully. "You are resourceful beyond expectation. Even in crises, you do not panic. You adapt. Learn. Improve." Alex smiled. "That's the idea. We've survived this long because we figure things out. We make mistakes, yes, but we learn and adjust." Leary's eyes glittered. "I see that clearly now." "Admire it." Alex felt a warmth he hadn't expected. Leary's admiration wasn't playful. Teasing this time, it was genuine. She had seen him under real pressure, handling chaos with human ingenuity. She respected it. The remainder of the day was quieter, though tension lingered in the air. Alex couldn't stop thinking about the incident. Human ingenuity had saved the day. But it had also deepened his bond with Leary. They weren't just roommates or companions. They were a team, able to tackle challenges that neither could face alone. Later, as they prepared a small meal together, Leary's playful side returned. She nudged a container toward him. "Tomorrow, perhaps we can test ingenuity in another form. Simulation or obstacle course. We must keep skills sharp," Alex laughed. "I wouldn't have it any other way." They ate in companionable silence for a while, occasionally exchanging observations about the station or commenting on their small victories. Alex realized something important. Humans weren't just resilient in crisis, they thrived in unpredictable situations, learned from mistakes, and built connections with others along the way. That combination of adaptability and ingenuity made them remarkable. Afterward, they settled near the window, watching the swirling colors of the planet below. Alex reflected on the day, the accident that could have ended disastrously, quick thinking required to stabilize life support, and the unexpected thrill of teamwork with a creature so different from him. He realized that humans could shine anywhere, sometimes in ways that surprised even themselves. Leary leaned back, ears relaxed now. "Humans sometimes appear fragile, but your minds, resilient, clever, adaptive, valuable." Alex nodded. "And aliens like you? Teach humans to see things differently. Your instincts, your reflexes, they complement our thinking." For a long time, they simply watched the planet. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, a vast expanse full of unknowns, challenges, and opportunities. Inside, two beings, one human. One alien shared an understanding forged in crisis and curiosity. Alex knew tomorrow would bring new tests, new challenges. That was life aboard the station. But he also knew something else. Humans could handle the unexpected. They could adapt, innovate, and thrive, even in circumstances that seemed impossible, and somewhere nearby. A fox girl alien roommate curled up comfortably, golden eyes flicking toward him occasionally. A silent acknowledgement of his cleverness and courage. She had tested him. He had proven that human ingenuity was a force to be respected no matter the species. Alex leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. He had survived another day, faced danger, and demonstrated the ingenuity that made humans remarkable. And for the first time, he realized that the universe was full of surprises, but so were humans. And that was exactly why they could thrive anywhere, as the station lights dimmed for the simulated night cycle. Alex felt a quiet confidence. The day had been challenging, even dangerous, but he had adapted. He had solved problems. And he had earned not just Leary's respect, but her trust. Outside the viewport, the planet turned slowly beneath them, clouds swirling across oceans and continents. The stars shimmered beyond, endless and unyielding. And in the midst of that vast universe, a human could survive, adapt, and shines, sometimes messy, sometimes imperfect, but always inventive, always resilient, always undeniably human. The station was quiet in the early hours, bathed in the soft glow of distant starlight. Alex was up before the simulation lights came on, checking his tools and equipment. After the recent crises, he felt a sense of calm determination. Humans thrived in unpredictable situations, and he had proven it not once but several times. Still, there was a feeling in the air that today would be different. Leary entered the quarters silently, her tail curling behind her. Her golden eyes shone with curiosity and an unusual seriousness. "Alex," she said, voice low, "I sense a challenge approaching, greater than those we have faced." Alex raised an eyebrow. "A challenge? What kind?" "The station itself," Leary replied. "A system-wide malfunction is likely. Life support redundancies are failing in multiple sectors. If not addressed immediately, we could face significant risk." Alex's heart quickened. This wasn't a drill. He grabbed his toolkit and nodded. "Then let's get moving. Humans adapt, humans survive. That's what we do." Leary's ears twitched, her tail flicking. "Yes, humans are remarkable in adversity. Let us see if you can prove it once more." They hurried to the control hub. Alarms blared, flashing red lights illuminating the corridor. Alex took a deep breath, steadying himself. Chaos could be overwhelming, but he had learned something valuable. Panic was useless. Observation and quick thinking were everything. The station's console displayed the problem. Multiple modules were losing power simultaneously. Oxygen levels in the residential and hydroponics sectors were dropping. Automated systems were failing, and backup protocols were triggering but inconsistently. Alex's mind raced. This wasn't a simple reroute like yesterday. This required strategy, improvisation, and coordination across different systems. He turned to Leary. "We need to divide tasks. I'll handle the residential modules. You focus on hydroponics and environmental control. We need to stabilize power and oxygen simultaneously." Leary nodded, ears perking. "Understood. Execute with precision. Observe anomalies. Adapt as necessary." Alex dashed down the corridor toward the residential module, toolkit in hand. Sparks flew from a damaged power conduit, and he ducked instinctively, assessing the problem. The primary power line had failed, but secondary systems were still operational. He quickly rerouted the connections, improvising with the human-made tools at hand. Meanwhile, Leary moved with remarkable speed through the hydroponics section. Her reflexes were incredible, allowing her to adjust pressure valves, redirect energy flows, and stabilize oxygen levels. Alex monitored her progress remotely, heart swelling with admiration. Humans had ingenuity, but paired with alien instinct, the combination was formidable. A new problem appeared. A tertiary system in the hydroponics module started to overload. Leary's tail twitched sharply. "Alex, this subsystem is failing. It could cascade into the main module," Alex thought quickly. "We need a bypass. Grab a conduit from the maintenance closet and patch it manually. I'll guide you through it." Leary followed his instructions perfectly, working with precision and instinct. Alex adjusted the power flow remotely, ensuring the bypass would stabilize the system without overloading other circuits. Slowly, the module's lights returned to steady green. Oxygen levels rose, and the hum of machinery normalized. "Excellent," Leary said, ears flicking back in satisfaction. "Human ingenuity. Guided effectively. I am impressed." Alex smiled, even though he was still tense. "We make a good team. Humans think, aliens react. Together, we cover weaknesses and build strengths." Their coordination was tested again and again over the next hour. Systems continued to fail in different sectors, each problem requiring improvisation, quick thinking, and careful execution. Alex rerouted circuits, stabilized oxygen, and recalibrated energy flows. Leary adapted instinctively, her reflexes faster than his, but always responding to his strategic guidance. At one point, A floating maintenance drone went rogue, its sensors glitching and threatening to crash into a critical power junction. Alex grabbed a control console, hacking the drone's programming in real time. Leary used her agility to nudge it gently back on course when his adjustments lagged. Together, they neutralized the threat. "You humans," Leary said softly after the immediate danger passed. "You remain calm under extreme pressure. You analyze, improvise, and succeed where others might fail." Alex leaned against the console, heart pounding. "It's what we do. Survival isn't about strength alone. It's about cleverness, observation, and adaptation. You just have to keep thinking, keep adjusting, and never give up." Leary's golden eyes reflected both admiration and something else, curiosity, perhaps even respect. "Your species possesses a remarkable combination of courage and intelligence. I underestimated humans before. I do not now." A final challenge appeared. The station's central environmental regulator began fluctuating wildly, threatening every module simultaneously. Oxygen levels spiked and dropped unpredictably, alarms blaring across the entire station. Alex felt the pressure, but he didn't panic. He knew humans could improvise. "Leary," he said, speaking rapidly, "I need you to manually override the regulator. I'll stabilize the secondary lines remotely. Watch the readings and adjust pressure valves as I guide you. Timing is critical." Leary nodded instantly, moving to the control panel with swift, precise motions. Alex manipulated the auxiliary power flows, carefully balancing energy between sectors. The regulator's fluctuations continued, but with each correction, stability returned bit by bit. Minutes felt like hours. Alex's hands were steady, though his muscles ached. Leary's movements were flawless, instinct guiding her through adjustments faster than any human could manage alone. Their combined efforts began to stabilize the entire station. Oxygen levels normalized, alarms ceased, and the lights returned to their calm, steady glow. They stood side by side, breathing heavily but victorious. The crisis had been immense, far beyond anything Alex had faced before, but human ingenuity, combined with alien instinct, had saved the station. "You humans," Leary said finally, ears tilted forward, "you survive, adapt, and thrive. Even under impossible circumstances, you are exceptional." Alex laughed softly, exhaustion and pride mingling. "We try, we make mistakes, we learn, and we keep going. That's what humans do." Leary's tail flicked with amusement. "And yet, despite your clumsiness, you succeed. That is entertaining and impressive," Alex grinned. "Clumsiness is just part of the process. It forces creativity. You have to improvise when things go wrong." The rest of the day passed quietly. The station returned to normal operations, and both Alex and Leary took a moment to rest. They sat near the viewport, watching the swirling colors of the planet below. Alex reflected on the past days of chaos, the tests, the near disasters, and realized something important. Humans thrived not just through strength or reflex, but through ingenuity, adaptability, and determination. Leary curled up beside him, tail wrapped around her legs, eyes thoughtful. "I have learned much from you," she said. "Your species is remarkable, clever, resilient, and unpredictable. Humans are a force in this universe." Alex smiled faintly. "Thanks, and I've learned from you too. Your instincts, speed, and precision teach humans to see differently, to think differently. We complement each other." For the first time, Alex felt a profound sense of belonging. Humans had survived for millennia because they adapted, observed, and improvised. Here, among aliens and advanced technology, he had proven that same skill. And he had formed a Bondan unlikely partnership with a fox girl, alien roommate that underscored humanity's greatest strength, the ability to connect, cooperate, and thrive in any environment. As night fell on the station, the stars outside the viewport shimmered endlessly. Alex leaned back, thinking about what the future might bring. He knew challenges would come again, expected malfunctions, strange phenomena, new arrivals, But he also knew something else. Humans could handle it. They could think, adapt, and innovate. And together with allies like Leary, there was no obstacle too great. Leary glanced at him, her eyes reflecting the stars. "Tomorrow will bring more challenges," she said softly. "But I trust your species will meet them with ingenuity and courage." Alex chuckled, shaking his head. "And I trust you'll be there to keep me on my toes."
Outside.
The universe stretched vast and infinite. And within that expanse, humans like Alex would survive, adapt, and shine. Clumsy, messy, inventive, clever, and resilient, they carried a spark that no alien challenge, no technical failure, and no unforeseen disaster could extinguish. Leary's tail twitched one final time as she curled beside him, her golden eyes closing. Alex let out a long, contented breath. Humanity had survived again, not through brute strength, not through luck, but through ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. And that, he knew, was priceless.